Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and this is some news from around the world for January the 22nd. Looking at the date, I can't, my eyeballs are going so bad. Anyway, we have a few stories here. This one from the U.S. by the Enrico Citizen. And let's see, there is book selection censorship bill that advances in the Virginia House of Delegates. There should be no book censorship. But let's look at this story anyway. A key House committee passed a Republican sponsored bill that would set policies about what books could be offered or banned in public libraries. HB 1448 would require public schools, parents, and librarians in Virginia to make recommendations to the General Assembly, the Department of Education, and the school boards on adoption of policies for censorship of library materials. The bill was introduced by Delegate Robert D. Orrick Sr., Republican of representing Spotsylvania. The original due date for recommendations to the Department of Education was set as of November the 1st, but Orrick requested the date to be amended to September the 1st of 2024 to give more time to come up with policies. The bill passed the House Education Committee as amended 12 to 9 on Wednesday in a party line vote, because of course it did. Supporters and critics of the bill spoke Tuesday during the pre K through 12 education subcommittee meeting. The bill was criticized for unnecessary and a duplication of school efforts by Lisa Varga, executive director of Virginia Library Association. She requested that if the bill is passed, librarians be involved in the process. The selection and curation of a school library collection is a science. Each book earns its place on the shelf following criteria. Varga said trained libraries and educators are constantly evaluating their teams for timeliness, relevance, and age appropriateness, as well as community need. Susan Muscat, president of Pro Family Women, an anti abortion Catholic organization, spoke in favor of HB 1448. Virginia's parents want to know what their children are reading at school. And this will provide more transparency to the parents as to how books are selected for the libraries and how they will possibly be open to object to those. Delegate Schuyler Van Valkenburg, Democrat of Enrico, said he hoped the bill would not be passed and uh, quoted the late Associate Justice of the Supreme Court, Louis Brandeis. A wise Supreme Court said that states are the laboratories of democracy, and it seems to me in this case, localities are the laboratories of democracy. This decision comes 1 week after the Madison County School Board voted to ban 21 books from the Madison County High School Laboratory in its first meeting of the year on January the 12th. Some of the books being banned from Madison County's high school library: The Handmaid's Tale, The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Shatter Me, which is a part of a series of books called Defy Me, Ignite Me, Restore Me, Shatter Me, Imagine Me, Unravel Me. And the others are Tar Baby, The Bluest Eye, Sufa, Love, The Tale of the Body Thief, Interview with the Vampire, Snow Falling on Cedars, Empire of Storms, Bag of Bones, 11/22/63, a novel, It, and Furyborn. Banning of books should never happen. It is a wrong and evil thing. And you notice how they have such an attack that they want to push against Toni Morrison. Or is what, 3 in a row that belong to her? 4 in a row. Three in a row for Stephen King. I fear for the future of the world, since we have so many people who are wanting to ban so much. Life is not pretty. The world is not pretty. It should not happen that so many things get banned or censored. That is a true crime. The censorship and banning of information. People just need to see it, and then we need discussions on, okay, why do you agree or disagree? We need that brought to the forefront. And we also need correspondence to show what was going on at the time this was written. Or in the setting it was written. Like I said, banning books and censoring them is an evil. It does nothing to help. It's just more evil. Next story we want to look at here. This is a report from Tufts University. Apparently, the dollar stores are chains are growing as actual food retailers in the U.S. They said it's still a small portion of the overall market, but it is growing in the market, and especially in poorer and rural areas. Next story we want to look at: the crocodile has not changed. Zimbabwe opposition warns of election violence. Opposition leader Nelson Chamisa urges world to keep eyes on President Mnangagwa amid fears of repression this summer. So yeah, issues going on in Zimbabwe, fears of attempts to attack any possibility for a betterment. Because usually when they seek to repress, it's because they see it as a threat that usually would better a country. That was from The Guardian. Also from The Guardian, police violently raid Lima University and shut Machu Picchu in mid Peru unrest. Machu Picchu is, of course, one of these ancient cities that we know was part of the Incan Empire. And of course, Lima is the capital of Peru, so they raid the university in Lima. So there is a lot going on here. Students say they were beaten and thrown out of dormitories as authorities cracked down on protests against the Peruvian president. So yeah, a lot going on here. But we'll go ahead and put that. As always, I'm going to have these links in the description if I don't fully go over them with you. Lula recently won an election in Brazil, and now he has fired the head of the Brazilian army after the far right insurrection on the 8th. Julio Cesar de Arruda reportedly stopped police detaining suspected rioters who took refuge outside Army headquarters. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah, that was from The Guardian. And also from The Guardian, Jacinda Ardern, we know, recently resigned as Prime Minister of New Zealand. Looks like Chris Hipkins is to become the new Prime Minister. He was selected by New Zealand's Labour Party to succeed Jacinda Ardern after her resignation on Thursday. So, yeah. He was the Minister for Education and Policing and one of the primary architects of New Zealand's COVID response, which is considered one of the best in the world. Now, this is from Reuters. California's shooting suspect kills himself after Lunar New Year massacre. Let's see. Shooting during the Chinese Lunar New Year festival ballroom dance venue was popular with older patrons. Shooter later kills himself when approached by police. 72-year-old gunman killed himself when approached by police on Sunday after 12 hours, about 12 hours after he had carried out a Lunar New Year massacre at a dance club that left 10 people dead and another 10 wounded. The gunman tried to carry out another shooting at a separate club just minutes after the first one on Saturday night, but authorities said two bystanders wrestled the man's weapon away from him before any shots could be fired. he fled the scene. If I can hit the right thing here. Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna identified the suspect as Hu Can Tran, a septuagenarian. He said you used a high-capacity magazine pistol to shoot up a ballroom dance venue popular with the older patrons, 7 miles east of downtown LA. Investigators did not yet know a motive, although gun violence is frequent in the U.S. Luna did not identify any of the victims, but said the 5 men and 5 women appeared to be in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. The sheriff said of the pistol Tran used appeared to be illegal in California, where state laws ban any magazine holding more than 10 rounds. Let's see. So, yeah. We want to know how something this awful can happen. After police say Tran carried out the shooting in Monterey Park about 10 p.m. Saturday, he was confronted by bystanders at a second dance club in the neighboring city of Alhambra about 20 minutes later. I can tell you that the suspect walked in there probably with the intent to kill more people, and 2 brave community members decided they were going to jump into action and disarm him. Sheriff said that Tran turned a handgun on himself on Sunday as police approached a white van he was driving in Torrance, California, about 20 miles from the site of the shooting at the Star Ballroom Dance Studio in Monterey Park. Officers heard a single gunshot from the van as they approached, then fell back and called for a SWAT team. One of the 10 people injured, 7 remained hospitalized Sunday night, with at least 1 person in critical condition. So, yeah. And finally, from AP News, Minister says Germany won't block Poland if they decide to give Ukraine tanks. So, yeah. The German government will not object if Poland decides to send Leopard 2 battle tanks to Ukraine, Germany's top diplomat said Sunday, indicating movement on supplying weapons that Kiev has described as essential to its ability to fend off an intensified Russian offensive. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock told French TV channel LCI that Poland has not formally asked for Berlin's approval to share some of its German-made Leopards, but added if we were asked, we would not stand in the way. German officials know how important these tanks are, and this is why they are discussing this now with their partners. Baerbock said in interview clips posted by LCI. Ukraine supporters pledged billions of dollars in military aid to Ukraine during a meeting at Ramstein Air Base in Germany on Friday. International defense leaders discussed Ukraine's urgent request for the Leopard 2 tanks after the failure to work out an agreement overshadowed the new commitments. Germany is one of the main donors of weapons to Ukraine, and it ordered a review of its Leopard 2 tanks in preparation for a possible green light. Nonetheless, the government of Berlin has shown caution at each step of increasing its military aid to Ukraine, a hesitancy seen as rooted in its history and political culture. But yeah, so that was quite a bit of news that's been going on here. Shootings, political strife, book banning, economic difficulties. It's lots going on in this world. Can we just get some nice, pretty pictures of kittens, please? Anyway, guys, that'll be it for now. Until then, later.